Year 2020 has been a challenging year in almost every sphere of life, including the field of education. It witnessed a shift from in-person, face-to-face classes towards online classes. Embracing the digital revolution and making a leap into online sessions can be nerve-wracking for most of us. Hi, I'm Leena Bhasker. Welcome to my channel. I'm an educator and I regularly upload videos related to science and education. How to make online classes interesting? I have been struggling with this question for past 6 months and found out some ways to answer it. So in this video, I'm going to share all my tips, tricks and suggestions with all of you. Although my take on this is science related, but you can extrapolate it to any other subject. So let's get started. Tip number 1, show up your face. Extremely important in an online session to show up your face. That means as soon as you join the class, put your video on so that your students can connect to you. In a recent seminar I attended, I found out that a few teachers even don't put their cameras on. How can the students connect? Okay, if you see a blank screen, or if you see by chance just the hand movements like this, can you connect? At least I cannot connect, and I think no one can connect this way. So remember the power of audio visual. To maintain eye contact, look into the lens of your device, whether it's a mobile or a laptop, and don't look here and there. Then students won't be able to connect. Tip number 2 is, I like to call it as create drama. Now, how do you create drama in an online class? The first is through your expressions. Use your eyes and hand gestures and facial gestures to express emotions, whether it's happiness or surprise. Oh wow, I was looking for this answer. Great, Rohan. You have answered it so well. Another way is to use voice modulation. You can modify your voice to express happiness or even displeasure. Like, Astha, screen is not a place to scribble. Okay? You can take a paper, rough paper, and scribble on it. Build a story. You can begin your class with a motivational, interesting short story related to your topic, or even simply an anecdote. Children, what happened in the morning with me? I like to rely on the element of suspense, and believe me, it does wonders. When I invite my students for an online session or class, the passcode itself is a mystery word. For example, when I had to teach endangered animals to my students, the passcode I sent was red panda. So they were curious to know about this animal. Tip number 3, build a rapport with your students. Be friendly and speak in a pleasant tone. Remember, high touch is more important than high tech. So try to touch their feelings. Call out names instead of roll numbers 1, 2 or 3. Make your own videos for teaching if possible. Use chat box or unmute option to make your class more interactive. Little things do matter. Try to involve your students in all possible ways. When we were doing the lesson water, all of us wore blue as the color of our upper garment. And when we were doing animals, then all of us wore t-shirts with birds or animal prints on them. Make your expectations explicit in an online session. That means set clear rules and instructions for students to follow so that there is no room for doubt. For example, during a revision class or a question answer session, what you can do is you can mute all the students. They can raise their hands to answer, and one by one you unmute them and then they answer. So you can make your own set of rules for your class. Tip number 5. Show and share objects in your nearby physical environment to the students. I can tell you or explain this to you with the help of an example. When we were doing the lesson plans, I showed some indoor plants to my students, and in return I gave them 2 minutes and asked them to show me some plants if there were some plants in and around their homes. Tip number 6. Variety in content. It's very important to use multiple tools like PDFs of books, videos, GIFs, comic strips, PPTs and so on, as the attention span of a 6-year-old somewhere lies between 12 to 18 minutes and that of a 12-year-old is between 24 to 36 minutes. Draw diagrams for them in the form of a tabletop arrangement. I have made a video on this and I'll put the link in the description box in case you are interested to watch. Quizzes play a very important and crucial role in involving the participants. You can have an online quiz by dividing the students into groups on the basis of their roll numbers or the first alphabet of their names and have a quiz session. Tip number 7. Breakdown. Breakdown involves the planning part. That means breaking your lesson or topic into parts to make it more digestible or understandable for students. For example, if you are teaching the topic or the lesson in sets and in one particular class you want to teach them useful insect. So maybe you start with an interesting video about useful insect honeybee and how honey is extracted from the beehive. Then you move to another useful insect, silkworm. You can show them life cycle of silkworm by using a paper plate, by having a model on paper plate. And then you can shift or move to another useful insect, lac insect, by showing them some lac bangles or other toys or decorative items made up of lac. So you have to plan beforehand and divide your lesson into parts. Tip number 8. Reward and praise. All human beings have a need for appreciation. You must praise the students for their good work. So you can praise them in the form of stars, claps, some special signs and emojis. In my classes, normally the students who do very well or answer very well, I announce them as star of today's class. So I give them this title. Tip number 9. Add fun and humor to your classes. This is a very wonderful tip and this is one of my favorite tips, and believe me, it does wonders. So talk something funny or describe something funny in between your lessons. I remember when I was teaching the lesson animals, so I narrated a funny incident of myself being scared of dogs. Tip number 10. Solicit feedback. If you really want to know whether your online sessions are engaging or not, whether the students are grasping the content or not, it is extremely important to take feedback from the students as well as their parents from time to time. Hope this video has given you an insight into fruitful virtual teaching learning process. If you have any comments and suggestions to make, please do leave them in the comment section. If you really like this video, then give it a big thumbs up. And if you wish to see more videos like this, then do subscribe my channel.